Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Solana, what has happened to it recently, and where we think the price is going to go to in the near future. I'll be giving you a price prediction and some of the key levels and trades I'm looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the analysis on this channel and you haven't done so already, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for more content like this. So with that being said, let's dive straight into this video. There is a lot to talk about, and let's just get the annotations from our yesterday's video on Solana back on the screen. And what you'll notice is from making that video yesterday, we already see quite a clear break through this trend line. So this trend line here in yellow, and of course this is a very important trend line because if we zoom out just to the start of 2023, we can see that this trend line here was our bullish support for our pump here on Solana. We can see that every time the prices of Solana came up and consolidated, this bullish support was here to support the price, meaning that the price came to the support, and every single time we saw it use the support as a springboard for the price to go in the upwards direction. And we saw this on multiple occasions. This was kind of the determinant, the guide of our bullish trend here. And quite recently, as you can see, we saw a breakdown from this bullish support. We saw quite a lot of momentum in the downwards direction. We can see that because of these large red candles here, and we saw an increase in volume in the downwards direction. So this looks like a confirmed break in my mind. Of course, we were looking for some sort of price target from this breakdown, which is approximately, which was the distance of this here. So this can be construed as some sort of falling wedge. Of course, we just take the first test of support and resistance. We get our measuring tool to measure the distance between there, and we can just drag our measuring tool to wherever we saw the breakout. So in this case, we saw a breakout yesterday at this region here. And so what we would expect to see is a price target here on Solana at around the $16.4 region. Now, of course, we saw a breakdown to around $22 here, but we have seen some sort of pump quite recently. Of course, we can ask ourselves, does this pump mean that this bearish trend is now invalidated? And quite recently, we did see a pump in the upwards direction. Of course, from $22, we did see that pump back to $24.5 here on Solana. So you might be asking yourselves whether we see this pump, whether this rising wedge has been invalidated and we're still continuing a bullish trend. Well, my answer to that is no. I do think we are seeing a new bearish trend here on Solana. Of course, we have seen a breakdown from this rising wedge, and I do see this as still about I do see this upwards move as a retracement from this downwards move here. Of course, for this rising wedge to be invalidated and for us to still be bullish, what I'd want to see is the prices on Solana regain this bullish support back into the upwards direction. Something that looks a little bit like this, you know. So if we extend our bullish support here, the prices come above this bullish support again and kind of use it again for its bullish direction. So in my mind, that would be when this rising wedge would be invalidated. But at the moment, this just looks like a small pump in the upwards direction, followed by a quick retracement back down. So I still think that this price target of 16.4 cents is going to be hit. Now, this rising wedge isn't the only thing that's kind of confirming that. What we also have here on Solana is the fact that we've seen it declining volume. So if we take this pump over here, for example, where we saw a massive pump up on Solana, compare it to this pump here, what we see is a declining volume. So of course, I've just drawn this trend line here to connect the tops of the volumes, and as you can see, what we really want to see is as Solana prices go up, we want to see the volume increase as prices increase. Now, over time, if we see that volume increase getting less and less and less, it means that there's less and less buyers buying each pump every single time. And of course, this isn't sustainable because at some point we're going to see buyers run out. And that's exactly what we saw here. Of course, we saw the tiniest pump bring the prices above this bullish support here, but there was barely any volume whatsoever to bring those prices up. So the first thing that I have seen that is a bearish sign here on Solana is this kind of divergence between price and volume. Not only do we have a divergence between price and volume, but we also have a divergence between price and momentum as well. If we have a look at the MACD down here, we can see that if we connect the peaks of the MACD line down here, we can see that if we draw that trend line connecting those peaks, that trend line is going in a downwards direction. This is on the 1 hour chart. And if we compare it to the trend line that we've drawn connecting the highs of the Solana price, we can see that each high is getting higher. Thus, the trend line is going in the upwards direction. Yet on the MACD, it's showing that it's going in the downwards direction, and this is a divergence. And if we go on the 4 hours charts, that same trend line connecting the MACD lines is even more steep in the downwards direction. And with the price, we can still see it's going in the upwards direction. So this is just a clear illustration of the divergence between MACD and the Solana, showing that we should see a change of trend in the near future. So another reason to be bearish here, in my opinion, on Solana. And this is why I think Solana is still going to go lower. Another thing as well is this blue trend line that we have up here, a very important trend line that if we go on a longer time frame, we can see that basically it has been guiding the Solana price in this downwards trend over the course of its lifetime. Basically, since its all-time high in 2021, this blue resistance here has been guiding the price in this downtrend that we have seen. Now, of course, if we were to break through this trend line, we should see a massive pump in the upwards direction, followed by a lot of momentum and volume, pushing prices well above this line. And at the moment, this trend line sits at around $25. Now, if this were to happen, then of course we should see renewed bullish energy come in and push prices higher here on Solana. But unfortunately, it is a big hurdle. And when there's very few buyers here on the market, there won't be enough volume, there won't be enough momentum for a proper breakout to occur of this trend line. So think of it as like a massive hurdle for the price, which is already overextended 300% from its bottom just 20 days ago. So one of the reasons why I don't think we've got much upside here. Another reason as well is, again, on the day chart, we can see this gray line, 200-day moving average, particularly important moving average. That's probably the most followed one, particularly in stocks anyway, but nonetheless we can still see that the price has respected the 200-day moving average here on Solana. Basically, when the price sits above this 200-day moving average, we're bullish, and it can be used as a support and resistance that we see in this region, for example. So over here, the price really respects its 200-day moving averages. It bounces off the 200-day moving average to the upside, showing us that we are in a bullish trend because the price is above this moving average. We see a decisive break below the 200-day moving average in this region here, just after a test of it as a support. And further into April, we see Solana almost comes to touch the 200-day moving average as a resistance and bounces back down. So, you know, quite an important level that we want to look out for. Of course, we had a test over there as well, and that sits at $27. So again, just like the blue resistance that I was talking about, this trend line, this moving average, sorry, is another hurdle that the price has to get over. So the upside for Solana at the moment is very limited because we've got those two hurdles, and we've seen a rising wedge pattern on the one-day chart. Furthermore, if we get up the MACD as well, what we are seeing is almost a crossover between the MACD and the signal line. So that's another bearish thing. If we do see that crossover complete, that is a sell signal on the longer time frames here on Solana. And of course, that means we're flipping from bullish energy, bullish momentum, to bearish momentum. And traditionally, this has been quite a good signal. Not so much in this region here, but if we have a look over here, for example, if we followed the MACD on the one-day chart, we would have got quite a clear signal back in March and April when to sell Solana because of this MACD signal line crossover here. So another bearish sign for Solana. So those are some of the things that I am looking at. Of course, we are also seeing a triangle, which I am monitoring as well. Something looking a little bit like this here on Solana. Again, if we break down below this triangle, that could present us a nice sell signal. And of course, another risk factor for everything is what the stock market is doing. There's no denying that cryptos and the stock markets have seen quite a bit of correlation recently because they're both risk on assets. And at the moment, the stock market has been a little bit dire. Of course, today we've seen a massive drop because of the Microsoft earnings coming out, and we have other big tech earnings coming out just in the next few days. We've got Amazon, Meta, Google, Apple all releasing their earnings. And if it's going similar to Microsoft, we are going to see massive drops here on the stock market, which is going to add a bearish bias here onto Solana. Another reason as well is the fact that the stock market is doing this rising wedge, similar to how Solana is, with the two yellow lines going in the upwards direction here, followed by the fact that, you know, the stock market is right by our two resistances, one in light blue and one in purple here. Very strong resistances, again, acting as hurdles for the S&P to really struggle to get over here, particularly with the earnings coming out the way they are. So in my opinion, things are looking bearish here on the stock market, and I do think that's going to add a bearish bias onto what Solana does, particularly with the fact that tech stocks and cryptos are fairly correlated together. So those are just my opinions here on Solana. Of course, I'm really watching for this $16 I'm really watching for the $16 region to be hit. I would expect some support at the $20 mark, so that would be like a first take profit level for me. If we draw the Fibonacci levels, we can see that the $20 pretty much lies on this 0.786 fib here. This is like the first take profit level, and if the price continues to fall here on Solana, then this area here at $16.50-ish will be my final take profit. So of course, that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know down in the comments if you're bullish or bearish here on Solana. And if you have any questions at all, do feel free to fire away. I'll try and answer as many of them as possible. But otherwise, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.